there's a conflict of interest for any politician who takes the money of a hedge fund, in that they may be swayed, the politician, by the financial interest. Now this has arisen again over Boris Johnson, because as Byline Times detected, the sponsors, the backers to his leadership campaign, were dominated by hedge funds and city traders. In fact, we calculated of those 40 donors declared by the Electoral Commission, 30 out of 40 were hedge fund owners and city traders. They provided 65% of the money which Johnson got for his campaign. To what extent is he swayed by their interests? The day before Boris wins the leadership, Crispin Odey was interviewed. He says they should suspend Parliament, like it was going to happen, like he knew about it.
You're not going to change this current Parliament, so you've got to dissolve it in some way.
It then emerged that he had invested in Boris Johnson's campaign, and at that time, laid a big short of about £299 million on British equities. Worthy of investigation, worthy of concern. Up to £300 million. Odey was betting at the time. He seemed to know, or seemed to have guessed, that Boris Johnson might suspend Parliament. He also said in that documentary, well, Boris could do this other clever thing. He could call an election and then move it till after Brexit.
When he gets the support of Labour to have the election by promising them the 5th to 14th of October, and then chooses the 5th of November. Well, I think at that point I really would be toasting. I would be drinking heavily, I think, actually.
I think this is maybe why Boris' sister said,
it could be Dominic Cummings advising the Prime Minister to be extremely aggressive. It also could be from people who have invested billions in shorting the pound or shorting the country in the expectation of a no-deal Brexit.
Former Chancellor Hammond said the same thing. Is there a ruthless more side of him? Is it financially interested? That's the danger, that he could be motivated by the potential rewards, by being in this entourage. Maybe he feels very poor compared to this entourage of multimillionaires. This is a man who thinks £250,000 for a column a month is nothing. Got 80,000 for one speech to a hedge fund. Always a problem when politics mixes too much with very wealthy men. Crispin Odey quite famously said that he'd made personally $200 million the night of the Brexit referendum. He said,
"The morning has gold in its mouth."
And looked very luxurious and very happy with himself, or who wouldn't be? He had contributed 870,000 to the Leave campaigns. And actually, just before Brexit, it was through his firm that Somerset Capital Management, Rees-Mogg's firm, was incubated by Crispin Odey. Crispin Odey actually donated to Jacob Rees-Mogg's parliamentary campaign. Odey is Rupert Murdoch's ex-son-in-law. Jacob Rees-Mogg is the son of Rupert Murdoch's ex-editor, William Rees-Mogg, who used to edit The Times, who has written a book about disaster capitalism, actually, about how the only way to make money is through disaster in the sort of later phases of civilization. So you have a very tight nexus of well-connected, wealthy individuals. I'm told there are other hedge funds more closely embedded with Johnson and his entourage. This is a matter of public concern. No minister should have a conflict of interest or an appearance of conflict of interest. And we've got, at very least, the appearance of a conflict of interest. In a turbulent world, there is always money to be made in turbulence. Since 2008, money has had very little place to go. But one of the things you can look at and make money if you get it right are sudden shock events. Brexit has been one of those, Trump has been one of those. In that situation, hedge funds can, if they get it right, make a lot of money. What if those hedge funders are participating on something they're speculating on? Paul Marshall invested very heavily in Vote Leave and big supporter of Michael Gove. It was Marshall who persuaded Gove in February 2016 to back the Leave campaign. So here's a major hedge fund owner, and he had the key voice with, apart from Boris Johnson, the other major leader of the Vote Leave campaign. Those two figures have such financial interests around them that appear to have swayed them, both in 2016 with Gove's decision to join the Vote Leave campaign to Cameron's shot, and now 2019 with Bonton trying to suspend Parliament and try all these tricks. It does suggest, doesn't it, to any rational person that money is speaking too heavily in our democracy, and some very rich people have much more sway than you or I. A lot of people just don't know these stories. Information is not only power, it's the lifeblood of democracy. Journalism and media is a key battleground, so I would recommend you support Double Down on Patreon. They don't take any adverts, they don't have any outside money, it's just you. So join the future of journalism and join Double Down News on Patreon.